When extra fuel gets on the cylinder walls, it washes away the oil from the cylinders and the pistons.
Well, that makes sense.
No, this is a computer-controlled system with variable inputs that monitor intake air temperature, the air-fuel mixture.
That makes sense too. What's up guys, I'm Tim, and if you're trying to figure out whether you should be warming your engine up in the wintertime before you drive it, there's a few different schools of thought here. You have the people that are just start and go. You have the people that will start their engine up, let it run for like 10 seconds or so, and then drive off gently. And then lastly, you have the people that will warm their engine up like all the way for 20 minutes before they even let their car budge. Now, I've spent hours researching, trying to find a definitive answer whether you should or shouldn't warm your engine up in the wintertime. And what I've come up with is probably not what you were expecting. It turns out, it doesn't really matter. Now, it seems like the general consensus online is that if you idle your engine for more than 30 seconds, you're actually going to cause damage to it. But more on that and how the internet works in a minute. So since I believe that there isn't just one clear cut and dry answer here, let's just talk about all the different factors to consider for your own experience with your own car. So right off the bat, I think the biggest one is the weather that you're experiencing, right? So like summer and winter makes a huge difference for how you're going to warm up your car. In the summertime, I think we can pretty much all agree, just fire it up and drive off. This is more of a winter weather discussion, I think. The next one is whether or not your car is carbureted or fuel injected. And I've watched a bunch of other videos on this topic, and they all seem stuck on explaining how carburetors work and stuff. Listen, my cars aren't carbureted, your car probably isn't carbureted. Who cares about carburetors? Let's just move on. The next one is, once you start driving on your morning commute, what kind of drive are we looking at here? There's a big difference between as soon as you leave your driveway, hopping on a highway and doing 80 miles an hour for an hour versus idling out of your driveway and immediately getting stuck in stop and go traffic where your car has plenty of time to warm up while you're on your way. Are you running like the recommended oil that the manufacturer tells you to run, or are you running something thicker? Like for example, in my MR2 here, I'm running super thick racing oil in this thing. And so even in the hot summertime, I still let this thing warm up a little bit before I start driving it, especially if I'm gonna be driving spiritedly. Another factor that I haven't seen anybody else mention is it's not just about engine health. Do you have children? Because young kids and babies that are in car seats aren't allowed to wear big, bulky winter jackets, right? It's a safety concern with the way the straps work, the car seat, the whole thing. So if I'm taking my 2-year-old somewhere, I don't want him freezing in that vehicle for any longer than he has to. What about the materials that your engine is made out of? So if you have an all aluminum engine, then chances are it's going to heat up fairly equally. But if you have like an iron block and aluminum heads, those metals dissipate heat differently at different rates and different timing. And so you do run the risk of kind of creating hot spots in your engine if you don't let your engine warm up gradually. Some manufacturers will recommend that you don't warm up your engine in the wintertime, but you have to ask yourself, do they want your car to last? Do they want your car to be reliable and last for 40 years? Or do they want to be able to sell you another car in a few years? What's their incentive here? On the other hand, are they willing to risk their reputation for reliability by giving you bad advice in order to sell you another car? If you think about it, it's kind of a fine balance that they have to play there between business and keeping their reputation strong. One question I do have about that though, if manufacturers think that idling your car is so bad for it, how come so many of them will offer remote starters as options in their brand new vehicles? Like, what else is that supposed to be used for? Let's dive into some of the arguments for and against warming your engine up in the wintertime. Starting with the people that are against warming up your engine. So modern fuel injected cars run very rich when you first start them up, especially in cold weather. Now, running extremely rich for a long period of time can definitely harm your engine because all that extra gasoline, since it acts as a cleaner as well, can actually wash the oil off of your cylinder walls, which as you can assume is going to create a lot of wear. It also could potentially dilute the oil, which would affect its lubricity as well. Idling your engine creates less heat than driving it. So if you let it warm up when you're idling, it's going to take a lot longer than if you just start driving. Now, if you have a loud exhaust and you let your car run for 20 minutes every morning, you are going to annoy your neighbors. You're going to wake the babies. It's kind of a jerk move. Now, as far as the environment, if you're worried about keeping the world as beautiful as possible for your grandkids, talk to China and India about all the crap they're doing to contribute to climate change. The other thing is that it wastes gas. If you think about it, letting your engine idle while it's running super rich, you're literally getting 0 miles per gallon. My take on all this is that it seems like most of this side of the argument is coming from blog posts by the mainstream media and from big YouTubers. And here's where the conspiracy comes in. The media tends to land on one side of politics, and it happens to be the side that's always talking about the environment and climate change. Okay, cool, whatever. So let me ask you this. Wouldn't it make sense for them to recommend to you to do not what's best for your engine, but what's best for emissions? Catalytic converters work best when they're hot, and so that's why a lot of modern vehicles are designed in a way that has the cats super close to the exhaust manifold so that they warm up as fast as possible. On vehicles like these V8 4Runners, that design actually causes the exhaust manifolds to crack, which results in pretty costly repairs. So that's clearly an example of them prioritizing emissions over reliability. Catalytic converters heat up quicker while you drive them. So is it really that far-fetched to think that they would recommend doing what's best for emissions over what's best for your engine? If you Google it, you might find links like this that make it look as though manufacturers like Toyota are recommending that you don't warm up your engine. But this isn't from the Toyota website, this is a website for Smart Toyota, which is just a dealership somewhere. Do you really think that one of the mechanics at that dealership stopped what they were doing, washed their hands, and went and wrote this blog post? Of course not. This is written by a content writer. Now, I'm going to try and run through this quickly. It's a little bit off topic, but I want to explain sort of how the internet works. Local businesses like this dealership hire web design and SEO specialists to create websites like this for them. Now, how does a computer geek write an article about cars? Well, what they do is they Google it themselves. They take the top 3 search results, and whatever they say in those articles, they put those in their own, they rewrite it, spin it to avoid plagiarism, and hit publish. This makes it look like it's written by an expert in the field, but it's actually just somebody regurgitating what's already on the internet. Mainstream media sites outrank pretty much all of their competitors due to the sheer size of their site and the backlinks to it. They can basically win no matter what they write and what they talk about, whether it's right or wrong. And since Google wants to make out with them, they're almost always ranking at the very top of all of these search results, which just so happens to be where these content writers are picking their information from. So if the media has a certain political agenda, see where I'm going here? That info spreads pretty quickly across the internet. Now, I'm not saying that everyone is wrong about not warming up your engine in the wintertime. Heck, maybe Toyota does recommend that themselves for all I know. As a matter of fact, I got 2 Toyotas here in the garage with me. Let's take a look at their owner's manual and see what they say. All right, check this out. This is the owner's manual for my MR2. And this one says, after the engine warms up for about 10 seconds, you are ready to drive, which kind of goes along with what everybody is saying for the most part online. This is the owner's manual for the 4Runner. This one says that the engine should be warmed up by driving, not in idle. For warming up, drive with smoothly turning engine until engine coolant temperature is within normal range. On one hand, this is the same manufacturer, 2 different vehicles, 2 different eras too, by the way. We got 1991, 2007. With this car, this is a turbocharged 4-cylinder, and this is obviously a V8. And that might play a bit of a role here as well, but on this car they're saying, if it's really cold, let it warm up for a few minutes. Not seconds, but a few minutes. And this one, it doesn't mention really anything about cold weather. It just says, start it and you're good to go. So that is what Toyota's official word is, at least for these 2 vehicles. So it's really just a matter of whether you agree with Toyota or not and what their intentions are when they're giving you that advice. Next, let's talk about why people feel like they should warm their engine up for a few minutes before they drive it. And I don't know about you, but I can't just wake up, walk straight into the gym and start throwing heavy weights around. I'm gonna hurt my dang self. I need to warm my joints up a little bit first, get the juices moving, and I feel like that makes sense also for our engines possibly too. Warming your engine up allows the metals to expand gradually, which improves your piston ring and bearing clearances. You also have better visibility by defogging your windows because scraping the snow and ice off the outside is one thing, but if they're fogged up on the inside, you need your heat to be able to clear that up so you can actually see where you're going. Another argument is that your ECU is going to run rich regardless of whether you're idling it to warm up or you're driving it to warm up. Just because you're driving it doesn't mean that it's not going to be still dumping gasoline into it. Idling your engine for a while will indeed build up some condensation inside, but that's all going to get burnt off once you start driving anyways, unless you warm your engine up and then shut it off and go back in the house, which is just weird. My take on this, I know it probably sounds like I'm being a little bit biased, but this doesn't mean that I think that you should warm your engine up for 20 minutes every single morning, even on a mild day. It also doesn't mean that doing this allows you to immediately start driving like Ricky Bobby as soon as you pull out of your driveway. Now, for areas that see a lot of extreme cold really often, I don't think that the solution is just warm your engine up in your driveway for half an hour every day. That's what block heaters exist for, and that's the exact reason why you use them, is it warms them up gently in a nice way so you're not just sitting there burning through gas and smoking out your neighbors. So if you're lazy and you don't want to form your own opinion about all this nonsense, then you can just copy me. Here's what I do. I'm kind of right in the middle of both arguments, to be honest. I feel like it really depends on the temperature, and basically, the colder it is, the longer I let my engine warm up for. For the warm weather, I'll basically just start it up, let it run for a few seconds to let the high idle drop down to lower RPMs, and then I'll just drive it gently until the water temp gets all the way up to the normal temperature. For the regular kind of cold weather that we see here in Ontario, which is not like super freezing, but it's like kind of right around that freezing mark, I'll warm it up for like maybe 2 minutes or so, and then I'll drive gently once again until it warms all the way up. Now for the really cold days, I'll typically just let it run for however long it takes me to clean all the snow and ice off of my windows. And usually it takes me like 10 minutes or so to scrape all that crap off. The bottom line, and what I think matters most here, is that you need to take it easy on your engine regardless of whether you warm it up or you don't, until it's at operating temperature. That doesn't matter if it's in the summertime or it's freezing cold, whether you warm it up or you don't warm it up. Remember that even if you idle it all the way up to operating temperature, the rest of your car is still cold. So like your differentials, your axles, things like that are still cold. So you gotta drive it gently regardless to warm everything up. The fact that so many people who are so highly educated on this subject, like mechanics and engineers, can't seem to agree on this tells you that there's really no perfect answer here. Otherwise, there'd be tons of clear evidence showing the effects of either warming or not warming up your engine in the long run. I looked and I couldn't find any studies that tested this specifically. So that means that everything that people are saying is based on theory and logic, which opens it all up to opinion, as opposed to like a scientific yes or no. So if the experts can't agree on it, then that means that technically it mustn't be super crucial whether you warm up your engine or you don't. Your car will likely survive either option. So comment below with how long you let your engine warm up in the wintertime and your reason why. And watch this video next if you want to see some tips about prepping your vehicle for driving in the winter.